So hello from foundfiction. It's a great honour to be part of this virtual event, which I thought was pronounced PechaKucha until about 10 minutes ago. It's great to see the people from all over the world are taking part. It's a new kind of stage fright that you get virtually. So we're just going to tell you a bit about what this current crisis has told us about what's important to community, society, and humanity. So we're a collection of writers, readers, and artists, and we're best known for printing short stories, putting them in envelopes marked "Read Me," and leaving them around the world to be found. And it started as just a way for one shy writer to get his work out there in public, and now we've expanded to include the work of 100 writers worldwide. The GIF's working, great. There's now 6,000 of these stories published and hidden away in different parts of the world. Like I said, 100 writers and distributors worldwide, as far away as Japan, across the English-speaking world, and also in Polish and French, as this project has kind of grown in recent years. And we also do creative installations and writing workshops and other kind of street literature projects that inspire people around everyday places through the written word. And the envelopes that we used to do, they've become kind of a metaphor for what we're about now, which is about trying to inspire people to find stories in everyday places around the world. And this is what pulls everything together in what we do. And our mission statement is to give people that vision to see stories and find inspiration wherever they are. Because as a writer, it's a gift to be inspired wherever you are. It can really help you out. It can boost your life chances, boost your well-being. And that's what we're trying to give people. And before this crisis kind of descended on the world, we had a lot planned. We had a lot of festivals planned. We had the Saltaire Art Trail, Bradford Science Festival, Leeds International Festival, huge kind of tens of thousands strong attendees were going to attend the events at these festivals, and one was going to be Generate. We had lots of workshops. We just launched Sip and Scribe, which is an equivalent of Drink and Draw, which you might have heard of. We're doing workshops for Leeds City Council at schools, York Literature Festival. We're in touch with a school in Argentina to do workshops. We had a lot lined up over the next kind of few months, including a few kind of street literature projects as well. So we were going to install kind of texts across a part of Leeds to imply that kind of the stories around certain parts of Leeds, and bring public text displays to life to capture community voices, the literary equivalent of street art, basically. And things had really kind of looked up for us really this year. This was going to be our busiest year yet. And it was on the verge of becoming kind of a sustainable thing, found fiction. We were putting a lot of effort into forecasting, planning, resources. The number of hours and weeks spent just purely on communicating with people via email and promoting events, you wouldn't believe. So things were really looking up, and then obviously, rather unavoidably, everything was cancelled. So it started out as kind of complete carnage, really, and it was a real shame for the runners of these festivals that all the effort that they'd put in, not just to run events, but all the emails and comms and costing up and all that energy, which has since evaporated, really. But yeah, tried to think about what this means for me, this current time. And I've just been kind of on delivery mode the past few years, doing talks, workshops, following lead, trying to explore avenues, going to networking meetings, and I've barely stopped to take stock of anything that I'm doing and to reflect on the activities that I'm doing. And it was a really weird coincidence that about a week before this really hit the UK, someone that I was doing an event with said that she'd been so busy that she'd never really stopped to reflect on what she was doing herself over the past few weeks. And I was like, well, I never consciously take the time to reflect on what I'm doing. I'm just going from one event to the next. So yeah, what this crisis has kind of told me is three things. So one thing is that we need each other. There was a really tragic moment that I saw in the news where one of the key workers, which are our hero supermarket workers now, was interviewed about what they thought about being a key worker. And she said, I didn't know I was needed before this. And I thought that's a shame, because we're all needed, we're all an ecosystem. And now we're realizing that. Secondly, people are generous. There's a lot of people, a lot of community groups and businesses now doing great work. Even on Facebook community groups, there's people helping each other out. I put a shout out on my local Facebook community group. Has anyone got a game of Scrabble? And someone gave a game of Scrabble to us, which is great. And listening is really important. And it's strange that it feels like people are more present sometimes when they're using the device that previously distracted them in the physical world to talk to you. And it's really important. I think this is what it's teaching me. It's important to be attentive over video. So obviously all those physical events have gone out the window that I talked about earlier. And this is what we're doing in the current crisis to keep people inspired and engaged. So we've got our bank of found fiction stories that we're delivering people via email. So if you want to sign up, you can drop us a line at that email address if you want to receive a short story every day throughout April. You know, only a select few people knew how to use Zoom before, I think, but we're kind of on that with our friends at the Old Bank Residency, with our friends at Arts Together, staging kind of interactive writing workshops just online with people who want to dial in and want to still kind of upskill their creative skills over Zoom. And we've also just submitted a proposal to the Arts Council for Culture in Quarantine. So the spoken word community is super strong in Leeds and everywhere across the UK. So we've pitched an idea to have a kind of video performance where the poets kind of tag the next poet in the chain, and they record themselves performing a line of poetry and then pass on to the next poet and the next poet. So yeah, it's actually been hard. This is my lockdown kind of workstation at the moment. And I've been moving house throughout this whole time. I've been living with my partner and a friend of ours who's kindly put us up. And it's really interesting how we're going through this together. And it's been hard to concentrate on anything creative, but this is about reflection as well as production and consumption. So I'm a big believer that things happen for you rather than to you. And it's supposed to lead us somewhere, teach us something and force us to make change. I think broadly, we've never been so separate, yet never been so together. And we'll, of course, come through this and remember this is all happening for us rather than to us. Thank you very much.